The Quran's repetitive nature is a key feature of its style and is considered a form of emphasis and a method of teaching. The most recurring themes and points in the Quran can be grouped into several core areas that form the bedrock of its message. 1. The oneness of God, Tawheed. This is the absolute, central pillar of the Quranic message. It is repeated in countless ways. God's unity, the concept that God is one, unique, without partners, children, or equals. The phrase, La ilaha illa huwa, there is no God but He, appears dozens of times. His attributes, constant reminders of God's sublime attributes, the most merciful, the all-knowing, the all-powerful, the creator, the sustainer, the judge. The basmala, in the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, precedes every chapter except one. Rejection of shirk, associating partners with God, is presented as the one unforgivable sin if unrepented. The Quran relentlessly argues against polytheism and idol worship. 2. The purpose and reality of life. The Quran repeatedly answers the fundamental question, why are we here? Worship. I did not create the jinn and mankind except to worship me. 51:56. Life is a test and an act of devotion to God. Trusteeship, Khalifa, humanity is God's steward on earth, tasked with living righteously and maintaining justice. Temporary nature of worldly life, dunya, the life of this world is repeatedly described as fleeting, deceptive, and mere play and amusement, compared to the eternal life of the hereafter. 3. The afterlife, Akhirah, and the Day of Judgment. This is arguably the second most dominant theme after Tawheed. The reality of life after death is a constant refrain. The Day of Resurrection, vivid descriptions of the world ending, the trumpet being blown, and all of humanity being raised from their graves. The reckoning and judgment, every individual will be held accountable for their beliefs and actions, which will be weighed in a scale. The two eternal abodes, the stark, contrasting depictions of paradise, Jannah, a garden of bliss with rivers flowing beneath, and hellfire, Jahannam, a place of intense fire, punishment, and regret, are repeated throughout the Quran to motivate and warn. 4. Revelation and prophethood. The Quran consistently places itself within a long history of divine guidance. Continuity of the message, the stories of previous prophets, Noah, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, etc., are told and retold to show that the core message of worship God alone has always been the same. The role of the Prophet Muhammad, he is repeatedly identified as a warner, Nadhir, and a bearer of good news, Bashir, a human messenger with no divine attributes. The Quran as a guidance. The Quran describes itself as a clear book, a guidance for the God-conscious, a healing, and a mercy for humanity. 5. Moral and ethical conduct. The Quran is not a book of abstract theology, it provides a comprehensive moral framework. Justice, adl, the command to be just, even if it is against oneself or one's family, is emphatically repeated. O you who have believed, be persistently standing firm for God, witnesses in justice. Quran 4:135, kindness and good treatment, especially towards parents, neighbors, orphans, and the needy. Prohibition of major sins, murder, theft, fornication, adultery, usury, riba, and consuming intoxicants are repeatedly condemned. Honesty and fulfilling promises, the importance of truthfulness in speech and action and being faithful to contracts and trusts is constantly emphasized. 6. Human nature and psychology. The Quran shows a deep understanding of the human psyche. The inherent disposition, fitra, humanity is born with a natural inclination to recognize God. The struggle between arrogance and humility, the downfall of Satan, Iblis, is attributed to his arrogance, a trait repeatedly condemned in humans. Conversely, humility before God is praised. The nafs, the self, soul. The Quran discusses the different states of the human soul, the soul that incites to evil, the self-reproaching soul, and the soul at peace, guiding believers on how to purify it. Summary: why the repetition? This repetition is not considered a flaw but a powerful rhetorical and pedagogical device in the Quran, emphasis, to drive home the most critical points. Pedagogy, to teach and reinforce core beliefs and laws in a memorable way. Consolation and reminder, to provide comfort, hope, and constant reminders to believers in different life circumstances. A holistic worldview, these themes are not separate, they are deeply interconnected. Belief in the oneness of God leads to accepting prophethood and revelation, which informs moral conduct, all of which culminates in the final judgment and afterlife. This creates a complete and coherent worldview for the believer.